But considering that bathing went mainstream in the 1800s and brushing your teeth in the 1900s, isn't it time for something new, like cleaning your nose? After all, your nose is the body's for trapping dirt and germs, the first line of defense against allergens, bacteria, and viruses from getting into your lungs. But how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage isn't medicine, it's more like plumbing. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the very back of the nose where germs can get trapped and multiply, and then out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and microbes so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. Join over 2 million others and find out for yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Spider-Man, that's another movie milestone.
Personal hygiene. Actually, it's both. But considering that bathing went mainstream in the 1800s and brushing your teeth in the 1900s, isn't it time for something new, like cleaning your nose? After all, your nose is the body's filter for trapping dirt and germs, the first line of defense against allergens, bacteria, and viruses from getting into your lungs. But how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage isn't medicine, it's more like plumbing. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the very back of the nose where germs can get trapped and multiply, and then out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and microbes so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. Join over 2 million others and find out for yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Cloudy skies and 44 degrees at 9:05. Good morning. I'm Mike Perchak. Governor Gretchen Whitmer visited Hemlock Semiconductor yesterday with other business, state, and local officials for a tour of the company. She commended the global silicon and semiconductor chemicals manufacturer for its longstanding commitment to Michigan and its contributions to Michigan's leadership position in the semiconductor supply chain. Michigan's automotive industry purchased nearly $35 million in products and services from semiconductor companies in Michigan in 2020, building on the state's leadership in research and development testing of semiconductors. HSC is part of a growing comprehensive semiconductor ecosystem in the state that's supported by SK Siltron, KLA, in Ann Arbor and Bay City, and the University of Michigan, which is the top global institute for semiconductor training. Whitmer called on federal officials to fund the CHIPS Act in her State of the State address to fight the ongoing chip crisis head on and take advantage of the opportunity to help grow critical sectors in Michigan's economy. Rebounding from COVID and spending ARPA money were some of the topics covered at the Bay Area Chamber of Commerce State of the Community address on Tuesday. Kicked off by County Executive Jim Barsha, businesses and residents were lauded for their resiliency through the pandemic. He said he was glad people could gather to celebrate the county's successes and shared that Bay County may be in the running for one of 7 statewide treatment centers for severe COVID cases.
Oh, it feels great not to have all of the masks and to have the freedom to get out and talk with everyone and interact. I think most of the people who want to be vaccinated have already done so. Now, our hope is that working with our legislators, we will decide of one of the 7 statewide treatment centers for those patients with severe COVID symptoms to keep them from being hospitalized or potential death.
Bay City Manager Dana Muscat said in the State of the City that Bay City could be ready to allocate all of its $31 million in ARPA funds fairly soon, if not by the end of the year. WSGW News Time 9:07.
Are you ready for? And Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier. In Empower Your Retirement, they talk about how a well-thought-out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement 848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
WSGW News Time 9:08. The weather forecast is next. Former Eric Smith is due in federal court in Detroit today, where he'll be sentenced in a fraud scheme. Prosecutors are asking for a 21-month prison sentence for Smith, who's charged with stealing cash from his campaign funds for his personal use. Smith pleaded guilty last year in federal court to obstructing justice. He's also facing trial on state felony charges, including embezzlement and forgery. He could face up to 20 years in prison if he's convicted on those charges. Those who watch highway safety bad habits drivers may have picked up over the last few years. And here's Autobeat reporter Jeff Gilberts.
That trend, more highway deaths, including pedestrian fatalities. Many blame speeds that rose when highways were empty and haven't fallen. National Safety Council Vice President Mark Chung says drivers need to get back to the basics.
These are really just basic best practices, if you will, of driving, of buckling up, slowing down, and not driving impaired.
Traffic density is nearly back to where it was before the pandemic.
Congressman Dan Kildee has introduced a bill to fund a registry to identify people exposed to lead during the Flint water crisis. The bill is designed to work to improve their health with connections to critical health care, providing also $50 million for Flint's lead exposure registry over the next 10 years. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom at 752-0610. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. We have a wind advisory in effect from later this morning until tonight. As we go throughout today, we'll see rain showers in the afternoon with cloudy skies and a high of 47. Southwest winds gust up to 45 miles per hour. For tonight, we'll see isolated rain and snow showers with a low around 30 degrees. For Thursday, we'll see rain and snow showers with sleet and freezing rain mixing in, cloudy skies with a high of 33, and new snow accumulation of 4 to 6 inches possible. Going to Thursday night, we'll see 3 to 5 inches of snow possible. And Friday, mostly sunny with a high of 24. I'm meteorologist Amanda Edwards with the WSGW Weatherology forecast. Currently 41.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Well, good morning to you and welcome. Welcome back to the Art Lewis Show from my Second on Spirit home studio, brought to you by Linda Shepard at Pinnacle Realty. For all of your residential and commercial real estate needs, have Linda go to work for you by calling her at 989-295-7713. Or stop in and visit Linda at Pinnacle Realty in the Point, M46 and M47, former ISD location. That's where she's located, and that also is where Cafe 476 is located, with delicious soups and foods and beverages for you. Later on this morning, around 10:30, 10:40 thereabouts, we're going to talk to Chief James Craig, the former Detroit police chief, who is now running for governor. We'll find out about his campaign. Focus will be on McLaren Bay Region, and we'll talk about heart health. For this hour, we're awaiting a call from Christine Miles. She has written a book called What It Is Costing You Not to Listen, in this world where we're shouting about everything from politics to sports to pandemics, you name it. She says we should be doing more listening. And when we hear from her, we'll get her going this morning. But until then, we'll have open phones for you. Whatever's on your mind, it's Saginaw, Bay City, 752-6111. Actually, that number is universal now, 989-295-7713. 752-6111. We got rid of the other number because we didn't need it. This number is good from anywhere, and they don't charge you long distance and roaming, so pretty much a free call. 989-752-6111. Couple of things I want to point out to you. We're not going to talk about them very much because they're not here yet, but there is a Michigan Senate GOP bill that includes massive income tax rate cuts for the state of Michigan. It's a hotly contested bill, as you can imagine. And according to this article in the Detroit Free Press, it would roll back both personal and corporate income tax rates. It was on a 22-16 party line vote. And it would reduce the personal income tax rate from 4.25% to 3.9%, and a substantially larger cut of the corporate income tax rate from 6% to 3.9%. So it would save Michiganders $2.5 billion by 2024. Yeah, it sounds good. Will the governor approve of it? I'm not sure about that. Chris is in Tittabawassee Township. Chris, you're on with Art. Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
Earlier on the morning team show, a story ran concerning the Oxford high school shooting, and I think I'm putting this together correctly. You played a clip of a young lady addressing maybe Congress or talking about gun safety and securing weapons properly and all that. And I said, thought to myself, if some law is going to be forced upon honest, upstanding people to make sure their guns are secure, who's going to enforce it and how are they going to enforce it anyway?
My answer to that is, and we're going to find this out in the trial of the Crumley parents, that law may already exist, that you have a responsibility to secure your weapon. I wouldn't think we need another law.
Right. I mean, stupid. I'm sorry to say that. Stupid or criminal or people that aren't going to pay attention to any bleeping law you pass anyway aren't going to pay attention to any more law anyway.
No, right. I mean, there were already anti-gun laws on the books, all kinds of them, and it's. I think we're going to find that out though with the Crumleys. If, and that's a big if, we don't know, they're charged, but if they are actually convicted, that's going to send the message, isn't it, on responsible gun ownership? That in itself will send the message that you have a responsibility to keep it away from those that shouldn't have it, like youngsters.
Yep.
And we hear that often. We hear of tragic cases where toddlers and young kids get a hold of guns and discharge the weapon and either kill their sibling or injure themselves, and the parents have responsibility. The laws are already there.
Yep. Yeah.
But every time there is a significant gun crime, there are cries for new laws, which A, won't do anything, and B, are probably already on the books.
Yep. Yeah, I've got a gun safe for my handguns, and I've my long guns have locks on trigger guards, and there's a cable lock through the breech.
Gee, that's called responsible gun ownership.
Yep. I wish more people would pay attention to that.
Oh, I do too. All right, Chris. Hey, listen, thanks for bringing it up. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye now. It's, it's as old as the hills. Every time there is a mass shooting, and it's understandable. Let's be honest about it. It's understandable. It's not a surprise. that that folks come out of the woodwork claiming that new laws are needed to prevent this. First of all, look at a city like Chicago, has some of the toughest gun laws on the books. And what, the highest murder rate by gun? Because those that are going to use guns in that fashion aren't following the law. They're probably not even getting the guns legally to start with. You can put all the laws you want on the books. It's not going to stop them. It's got to be reasonable discussion. And along that lines, I was going to bring this up. If you followed this one, the Sandy Hook group, and first of all, hearts go out to these people. They lost youngsters in a senseless shooting in a school. No two ways about that. But they have now settled with Remington, the maker of the gun, for $73 million. Remington Arms was the maker of the Bushmaster AR-15 rifle that was used that killed first graders and 6 teachers, 20 first graders, as a matter of fact. And it's an interesting settlement, and here's why. The gun industry has long been not held accountable for their parts in these tragedies. Well, what part is it? They made the gun. They didn't use the gun, they made the gun. My problem with the settlement, and first of all, it's not with the people and not the fact they're going to get money, more power to them, and that doesn't bring back their youngsters and all of that stuff. My problem with it is this going to be the new norm? That every time a product, not just a gun, every time a product is used, manufacturer is going to be held responsible if it's used improperly? Because in that case, we're all going to be suing General Motors and Ford and Chrysler and all the other manufacturers every time a car gets in an accident and someone is killed. Every time you misuse a knife in a kitchen, will the knife manufacturer be held responsible? Where is the limit is my question. So we'll see where it goes from here. Just thought I'd bring that up and ask the question. All right, let me chat with you for a moment about my friends at the Phelan Auto Group on North Euclid Avenue in Bay City. They've been there for 45 years serving your automotive needs. The brothers Joe, Mike, Pat run the dealerships. They take in a lot of used cars when they sell their cars. And they take those cars, inspect them, and put them out on the lot, which leads to a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles on their lot. Not only from trade-ins, but they scour the market for additional used cars, meeting their exacting standards. And they become your one-stop shop for fully inspected used vehicles. Hundreds of vehicles to choose from right there on North Euclid Avenue in Bay City. You'll find more selection than almost any other location in the Tri-Cities because you have all those dealerships side by side. And you can also shop certified pre-owned vehicles from their various marques: Audi, Volkswagen, Subaru, Mazda, Honda, Kia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. So you don't have to spend days and days and hours going around to dealer to look for the right car. One-stop shop at the Phelan Auto Group on North Euclid Avenue in Bay City. Or you can go online to thinkphelan.com and check out the inventory. And when you're ready, stop by and visit the folks at the Phelan Auto Group, North Euclid Avenue in Bay City.
What's the most important part of a retirement plan?
Income is king because we all need income. And if you don't have an income plan, you don't have a retirement plan.
That's Kevin Ray, financial coach at Insight Folios. Kevin tells his listeners every week about the importance of income planning, minimizing taxes, and strategies to lead a worry-free retirement. Learn all about that and get your own compliment by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-7526.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Why would you pay full price when you know that you can save at RocketGrabPlus.com? You can check out our deals going on right now from Nom Nom Ninja, 120 Fitness, the Salt Room and Wellness Spa, Uplift Creative Center, Joyce's Purple Palette, Woody's Hot Dogs, Wonder Burger, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? You bet. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com. RocketGrabPlus.com.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report. Americans were still shopping and eating in restaurants last month, even though they were paying more, and there were disruptions caused by the COVID Omicron variant. Retail sales rose 3.8% in January. Excluding autos, the increase was 3.3%. Auto prices have skyrocketed because chip and other parts shortages have resulted in fewer cars to buy. For example, Sonic Automotive actually sold fewer new and used cars in the recent quarter, but it's reporting record earnings. It was able to charge more for cars. Sonic is raising its dividend. Android phones are about to receive new privacy restrictions. Google, a unit of Alphabet, says it will put restraints on advertising following the lead of Apple. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Coselda, invested in you.
Biden's massive spending plan has expanded America's money supply and taken money out of your pocket against runaway inflation by sheltering your IRA or 401k with gold through Birch Gold Group. This is Stephen K. Bannon, and I'm proud to be a customer of Birch Gold. Join me. Birch Gold has created a free info kit on protecting your retirement with gold in a tax-sheltered account. Just text the words SHELTER to 989898. Text SHELTER to 989898 and learn how to shelter your IRA or 401k with gold.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Finding great, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. The study also reports that they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy and afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robin show, will Biden send the lying dog-faced pony soldiers to Ukraine?
I think just the dog-faced soldiers. Ponies are dangerous.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
All right, we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show. And back to our phones. Tom is in Saginaw. Tom, good morning to you. Welcome.
How are you, Art?
We're doing well, thanks.
Just a question, a comment on the issue downstate with the shooting.
Yeah.
I forget what's there anyway.
Oxford.
There was commentary that the kid was being bullied in school, and then that kind of hushed up once they went after the parents. And I was just, I know years ago when you're dealing with parents and kids in school and stuff, there was a very large percentage of kids who really didn't have a functional parent in the home. And I'm not saying that's the case in this circumstance, but when you come to passing laws to hold parents responsible, maybe you should get rid of governmental immunity statutes for school, and then if they're not protecting these kids and bullied and those kind of things, and the kids lash out, and I'm not saying that's an excuse for them lashing out, but there needs to be some accountability on the part of the schools and school officials if they're not taking the responsibility for kids being.
Well, we're gonna.
This kid had a mental health issue as well.
We're gonna find out about it.
The bullying.
Yeah, we're gonna find out about it because there's several lawsuits now against the schools. The school district can't be sued, but individuals within the school are being sued.
No, but if we're serious about it,
yeah, I understand that, but also understand in this case, though, initially, the school took the right action initially, and they called the parents in. Then the parents refused to take the kid home, and that's when the school failed its responsibility because they let the kid go back to class, and nobody looked inside his backpack. That I can't believe that. So yeah, there's responsibility.
But you go back before that. If the kid was being bullied, then the school has to take responsibility for not preventing that.
Well, if that's the case, we'd be suing every school district in the country. How do they do that? How do they prevent bullying? Tell me how. You went to school. I mean, I went to school. And I felt the wrath once in a while of the bullies. How do you prevent that? How do you prevent an individual?
Well, if there's a group of students out there that are doing, their students know that, and the teachers and the administrators and parents can be more proactive in finding that out.
It's a lot of ifs.
This kid was being bullied.
It's a lot of ifs.
The parents knew it. The school knew it that this kid was being bullied.
So why didn't the parents take him home?
I can't. I'm not saying that the parents did the right thing here at all. I'm simply saying that there were school officials, teachers, and others in the school that understood this kid was being bullied, that he was slow, that he had mental health issues.
And like I said, we're going to find out. We're going to find out because they're being sued. We'll find out if they have the responsibility or not. The one thing that you talk about that we can't do, we can't sue the school district because of immunity. So, and we heard that from
in these kind of situations.
Yeah, we heard that from Ben Johnson, the attorney in Detroit, who is suing. He said, I can't sue the district, so I have to sue the individuals within the district.
Right, and
we'll see what happens.
Situations like this.
Yeah, it's certainly not easy, that's for sure.
No, and I understand that, but you have to understand that in like 30 or 40% of a lot of school districts, you don't have a functional parent in the home, especially in single parent homes, because moms are working all the time, and
Well, I don't know what the percentage is, but there are a lot of single parent homes. There are a lot of single parent homes.
I know. What I'm saying is that there were a lot of, I think the percentages were pretty high as far as a non-functional parent in a lot of the homes.
Yep, maybe. That may be, but that's not a, is that a school problem or is that a parental problem?
Well, when you go after the parents criminally, maybe you should be able to go after the school officials criminally too. I mean,
what? If the parent, if the parent is non-functional, is that the school district's responsibility?
No, but if the school district doesn't take responsibility for the bullying and those kind of things going on in the schools, then maybe there should be criminal responsibility with regard to the school officials as well, if you're going to go after the parents in those situations.
Well, it certainly has to be case by case, that's for sure.
But you're absolutely right there. You're absolutely right.
All right. Hey, Tom,
right.
Great conversation. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it. And that opens the lines for you. Give us a call, 989-752-6111. Yeah, as we learned from Attorney Ben Johnson when we talked to him last week, that can't sue the school district, so he has to go after the individuals who were involved in the case one way or another. So we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of court cases, and it'll be interesting to see how they all work out in the end. Who knows? Speaking of lawsuits, I mentioned this one before it was adjudicated. Now it's done, at least for now, although there could be an appeal, although I don't think it would change anything. Sarah Palin, the former vice presidential candidate and former governor of Alaska, lost her lawsuit against the New York Times over libel allegations because of an editorial that was very, very misleading and very negative to her, which the next day got corrected by the Times. It linked her in a way to the Gabby Gifford shooting and the shooting of 6 others. And what the courts said, the judge, District Judge Jed Rakoff, said he was going to dismiss the lawsuit. While the jury was in deliberations, he had already said, I'm going to dismiss it anyway. But he was going to wait for the jury decision because he thought that would have some impact on appeal. But the jury came back and found the New York Times not guilty. So he didn't have to dismiss it because the jury did it for him. There is a 1964 court ruling that made it very, very, very difficult to sue public figures. You have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt there was malice. And what does that mean? Well, that means that the New York Times went into that editorial with the direct intent to hurt Palin directly. And that's very difficult to prove. Public figures are assumed to accept a certain risk of reputation when they enter public life as political figures or what have you. Now, there are a lot of people who'd like to see that change. But to be honest, I don't think it will. This is the second round of this case. It already had gone through one appeals process and sent back to the lower court. And it is not likely that another appeal will be successful. So until the Supreme Court revisits the case, and this one may not be the case to do that, that law stands. That ruling, which in effect is law, stands. There are Supreme Court justices who would like to revisit that ruling, but they can't do it on their own. They have to have a case before them. Take a break. We'll get back to Scott and Saginaw when we return.
Did you know we lose up to 20% of our home's heat through windows and doors? Let the experts at Westside Decorating show you how to keep your home cozy with insulating shades and draperies. This is Sonia. Call us today at 989-793-6182 for your in-home consultation. We'll visit our showroom and see our new flooring and carpeting options. Westside Decorating Center, 5789 State Street in Saginaw Township.
We've all seen how unpredictable life can be, but here's one thing you can count on. The Covenant Center for the Heart is here for you. More people in the Great Lakes Bay region trust their hearts to Covenant Healthcare than any other area hospital. Why? Because we have the most comprehensive cardiac care in the region. From diagnosis in our chest pain center, to the region's first structural heart disease program, to our cardiac rehabilitation and wellness center. And because we keep our patients safe. An A rating for patient safety from the Leapfrog Group 7 times running. So if you have an existing heart condition, call your cardiologist. If you experience symptoms like chest pain or shortness of breath, call 911 or come to the Covenant Emergency Care Center. Don't delay care. Life and hearts can be unpredictable. Trust yours to Covenant Healthcare, the leader for extraordinary care.
We are proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family.
Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com for Sullivan's Food and Spirits is sold out. But you can still check them out online and in person. And don't forget to keep checking back because there are still a ton of deals on RocketGrabPlus.com. RocketGrabPlus.com.
Candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
Water stains on the shower glass. Try rubbing some shaving cream on them.
Tyler's cleaning crew knows every housekeeping trick in the book.
Handling timesheets now.
Keeper to keep finances tidy.
New equipment is a business expense, right?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Michigan conservation officers enforce laws that protect our state's natural resources. They're committed to finding people who are passionate about educating others to preserve Michigan's beautiful and historic places. If you enjoy being outside and working with your community, consider a career as a Michigan. Recruits will learn everything they need to be successful in a paid training academy. Learn more at michigan.gov/conservation officers. Sponsored by Michigan DNR and MAB.
From the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios, you are listening to 100.5 and 790 WSGW.
And we're back. And back to our phone. Scott is in Saginaw. Scott, good morning.
Good morning, Art. I just got a quick question for your last caller. Who's responsible?
Whoop, hang on a minute. Hang on. I did something wrong. Okay, now I pushed the wrong button. Go ahead.
Again, I wasn't going to call, but I got a question for your last caller. Whose responsibility is it to teach your children not to kill? The schools or the parents?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You know? I'm on the same page you are. I think, though, I think, realistically, Scott, we also have to look at these immunity laws and what they allow and don't allow. Because I would ask you, does the school, when they have a known problem, have some responsibility to take action to prevent what happened in Oxford? I understand the parents' role, don't get me wrong, because I'm not disagreeing with you on that. But in what situation does the school have responsibility? When, for example, the parents refused to take this kid home, which I can't understand. They were more interested in getting back to their jobs or whatever. What becomes the school's responsibility when they have what they see as a known problem? And they had to see it because they called the parents in the first place.
Right. Well, as far as Oxford, I don't know. I don't know what all the school knew, what went on in the principal's office. So I don't, which way or the other, I don't know. But if you know there's a known threat and the guy seems like he's going to pose a problem, then yeah, something should be done. But again,
exactly,
liability, it's just so hard.
It is. That's true.
Somebody just always wants to make somebody the scapegoat, and sometimes we just have a bad apple. And
yeah, listen,
we could have did.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'll tell you what, though, we are going to find out if there is individual responsibility, because there are so many lawsuits flying around right now It's going to be an educational experience to see who gets convicted of what, if any.
Well, again, though, it depends what judge they go before. Are they going to go before a judge go before a judge to where they feel the law is beneath them?
No,
I'm
not. Well, I'm not going that far. I mean, let's face it. First of all, some of these suits are going to be federal, which is going to be interesting. And I have great faith in our legal system. Is it perfect? Nope, nothing is. Nothing is. Neither party is perfect, and none of us are perfect. We all have our faults. So yeah, there are ways occasionally to manipulate the bench, but I don't go that far. I think most judges are good judges, and they judge on the facts before them. So I'm not gonna blast the judiciary.
Well, I appreciate your hope in them.
I think it's realistic. I think it's realistic.
Well, what I've been watching the last 4 or 5 years through the law and what's been going, I just don't have as much hope as you do, Art.
Well, that's all right. That's fine. That's an individual thing. That's not a problem. I understand that.
But again, to the last caller, though, we need to be teaching our children not to kill. And again, sometimes we just have a nutball in the family, but it's the parents' responsibility.
Well, it certainly begins there. No doubt about it. No doubt
I
about
think
it.
so,
So you don't subscribe to Hillary's theory, it takes a village?
I think that's the problem. When you have too many people interfering, you have too much chaos.
The problem, the problem with that theory, it takes a village, is there are too many people willing to abdicate their responsibility and say, okay, village, you raise my kid. So
if they want me to help raise their kids, send them over here and they can cut my grass.
All right, Scott. Hey, I appreciate it. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, it's an interesting thesis, though. I mean, listen, when you are a parent, you give birth to a child, you have a responsibility. And unfortunately, there are parents, and not percentage-wise, not a lot. We're not talking about the majority here. We're just talking about those parents that abdicate that responsibility. And there are a lot of reasons for it. One, it's either in their personality, they're selfish, what have you. But two, and I think the greater reason, and I trace this back to the 60s, it could be a little different, but generationally, we have not taught youngsters to be parents. So if you don't teach the upcoming generation to be parents, what do we expect when they become parents? Why should we be surprised? Think about that. All right, let's pause, and we'll be back.
The Windy City's own Chicago. Saturday, April Casino and Resort. The unmistakable sound of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's Chicago. Tickets start at $59 and are on sale now at the Soaring Eagle and Eagles Landing box offices or online at etix.com. Chicago, Saturday, April 9th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Rock, horns, and hits. Does everybody? It is 254624. Chicago. Tickets are on sale now. Details at SoaringEagleCasino.com.
At Wildfire Credit Union, our team will tell you that everything we do is for our members because it's about you always.
I had a member who received an email that a reputable company that she works with was going to take a large amount of money out of her account. She was panicked and upset, and I walked her through what she needed to do. Told her the exact steps to do and that I would keep an eye on her account. So she followed all of my instructions to the letter. And then the company that charged her account was aware that it was a scam, and they gladly and assured her that everything would be just fine and the money would not come out of her account. So she was very grateful.
Saving members money, providing personalized service, going the extra mile. That's Wildfire Credit Union. Find out for yourself. Call, click, or come by any Wildfire location to experience banking the way it's supposed to be, where it's about you, always. Wildfire Credit Union. Distinctively better. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Superior Insurance Group, formerly Northway Plum Insurance and Henris Wealth Solutions, bring you to the first annual Rat Pack Gala. We invite you Saturday, February 19th to get your tux and petticoats out for the classiest event of the year. You will enjoy cocktails, followed by a plated meal, dancing, and a show. Cash bar and dinner are from 5 until 7 p.m., followed by the big show from 7 until 10 p.m. During the big show, you will be transported back in time by a 17-piece orchestra and the Rat Pack. The event will be held at the Doubletree by Hilton, 1 Winona Park Place, Bay City, 487. By going online to theratpackgala.live. $100 or $2,000 for a table of 10. The proceeds from this show will go to the Bay City Noon Rotary Charitable Foundation that focuses on youth and education in Bay County. Join us Saturday, February 19th for good food, great entertainment, and most important, a good cause. Visit theratpackgala.live for your tickets today.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath. Brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
TrackPhone wants to know, are you an influencer? A big live streamer? No? Then guess what? You don't need an endless data plan. Get just the right amount of data with TrackPhone's $40 unlimited talk and text smartphone plan. Now with 8 gigs of high-speed data in unlimited carryover on America's largest, most dependable network, now with 5G. Get the data you need at the price you want. TrackPhone Wireless. Now you're in control. Available at major retailers. 5G compatible device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at trackphone.com.
The W Team Show.
Following the Super Bowl LVI, and the Rams win over the Bengals, highlighted by the play of quarterback Matthew Stafford. We show some love for Matthew. I mean, come on. Is it not storybook? All those years that he told for our Detroit Lions, and then a trade, which is why they traded for him.
It is. Did you see, though, how many times in that drive how Stafford threaded the needle? I mean, then he managed to get it in there.
And how many times do we see him do that in Detroit? Last drives of the game. Well, congratulations to Matthew Stafford and family and all that.
A lot of Michigan-based fans seem to have wanted Stafford to win it, and kind of living through that as being our quarterback for so many years.
Kind of like how we Tiger fans had to watch Justin Verlander win a World Series with another team. We were happy to see him do it, but wished it could have been here. Maybe 1 year.
Team Show, weekdays 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
All right, we're back with you, the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. Delighted to be with you today. And save your pennies, folks. All of you folks who like to travel out there. Boy, have we got a deal for you. Virgin Galactic has now opened up their seats for space flight starting at $450,000 for a single seat. And there are 3 different sales offerings. And no, there's not first class and economy. It's all one. The company has said that the $450,000 is for a single seat, but they will also offer packages. They will offer a package for a couple, packages for friends or family, or opportunities to book the entire flight. And I know that's what you're all hoping for. You all want all the seats in the space capsule, which are what, 6? Or I'm not sure how many there are. The company has said previously, by the way, that of the $150,000 deposit to hold your seat, $25,000 of it is non-refundable. So if you cancel, you get back your $100,000, or $125,000, but the remaining $25,000 is non-refundable. They have had about 600 reservations for tickets on future flights, and those tickets sold between $200,000 and $250,000 each. That was the bargain price. But in August, the company opened the ticket sales at the $450,000 price to those who had expressed interest, and it sold about 100 additional. So there you go. The price is out there for you. If you want to take a shot into space for about 10 or 11 minutes. Let's see, $450,000, 10 minutes, $45,000 a minute. That's not bad. Would you do it if somebody came to you? Put aside the money for a minute. If someone came to you and said, hey, guess what? We are going to gift you a seat on either Virgin Galactic or on SpaceX and give you a chance to ride up into space and come back. Would you do it? For free. I would jump at the opportunity. That's in my nature. When I was a lot younger, I was a bit of a risk taker. But, as you get older and you have responsibilities and all that, that goes away. But there are some things that I would be willing to go back and take the risk. And that would be one of them. So, Chandler at the radio station says, let's get to the point like in 2001, A Space Odyssey, where I can stay at the orbital Hilton station. Then maybe I'll go. It's going to cost you more than $450,000 for that one. Yeah, remember that? Yeah, the orbital Hilton. That'd be nice. But anyway, going back to it, I always look at space as the last frontier. And I would love to be able to take my camera and be able to shoot a picture of the Earth from above. I mean, if NASA offered me a trip to the space station, I'd be there in a heartbeat. But of course, you have to get yourself in physical shape to do it. You have to have the space suit, all that stuff. Not quite as rigorous for SpaceX and Musk's. SpaceX is Musk and Virgin Galactic. So, dream on. I don't think anybody's going to be offering me the free ride. There are some people who would like to send me off this planet. I understand that, but I don't think they're willing to spend $450,000 to do it. Anyhow, just thought I'd bring it up this morning. We'll take our last break, come back and close out the hour, and tell you what's ahead when we return.
As a Blue Cross Medicare member, to care as soon as you need it. You can schedule appointments for checkups or routine care at a time that's convenient for you. You can also call our customer service team to ask for information and get the help you need. With Blue Cross, it's easy to get the care, tests, or treatment you need whenever you need them. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Confidence comes with every card. To learn more, visit bcbsm.com/senior options.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh & Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntosh. the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
With this week's Spirit in 60, I'm Joey Batano. The Spirit hit the ice again Friday night when they traveled to Guelph, Ontario to take on the Storm. It was the Storm who they matched up with last on Saturday night at the Dow Event Center, with Guelph handing the team a 7-3 loss. A bright spot in the game was the 20th goal of the season from Buffalo Sabres prospect Josh Bloom.
Chance right in front, Josh Bloom scores. And so this... And have cut the Guelph lead to 4 goals once again, now 7-3.
The Spirit returned home to the Dow Event Center Saturday night, taking on the Sarnia Sting. Puck drop is scheduled for 7:05. The Spirit hit the road Monday afternoon to take on the Windsor Spitfires. That game scheduled for 2:05. For tickets and more information, log on to SaginawSpirit.com or visit our new offices at 6321 State Street in Saginaw Township. With this week's Spirit in 60, I'm Joey Batano.
Yes, I'm so sorry about the wait, ma'am. I'll be with you shortly. Carrie, how many appointments did you book at 2:30?
Jim's physical therapy clinic is pretty stretched.
That was some light stretching.
He needs another PT before patient.
Ice pack for Miss Davis's knee.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You have the chance to win $1,000 in the Cash for Couples contest. You can enter and get official rules online at WSGW.com. Scroll down the homepage and click on the contest box. All right, that'll do it for the first hour of the Art Lewis Show. Coming up in the second hour, we'll start with open phones, but later on in the hour, around 10:40, we're going to talk to former Detroit Police Chief James Craig. He is running for governor in the state of Michigan. We'll talk about his campaign with him. Meantime, stick around for the news at the top of the hour, and then we'll be back with more right after the news. Talk to you then. From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. NATO allies insist the threat of a Russian invasion of Ukraine remains strong, though Vladimir Putin insists he's pulling back troops along the borders. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg.
This gives grounds for cautious optimism. However, we have not so far seen any sign of de-escalation on the ground.
Correspondent Holly Williams is in Kyiv.
There are signs that Russia's President Vladimir Putin could perhaps be looking for an off-ramp from this crisis. Yesterday, he said he did not want war in Europe. If President Putin really has decided against an invasion, it could be because of pressure from the U.S., including sending weapons to Ukraine and threatening unprecedented sanctions, including hitting the Kremlin's inner circle.
President Biden has a call scheduled with Germany's chancellor a day after Olaf Scholz met with Putin in Moscow. U.S. retail sales shot up 3.8% last month. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Fueling much of the jump is the fact that inflation or prices are at 40-year highs.
Stuart Rhodes, leader of the Oath Keepers, one of the suspects in the Capitol attack, has a court appearance today.
His lawyers tell CBS News he'll argue the Oath Keepers were in Washington that day to protect VIPs at the Trump rally at a Virginia hotel nearby only if Trump were to invoke the Insurrection Act. Law professor Catherine Ross says this is the case to watch.
First of all, Rhodes is a very high-profile defendant. They were incredibly visible.
Rhodes is pleaded not guilty. Trial expected not till late summer. Scott McFarland, CBS News, Washington.
A woman with leukemia has become the third person ever cured of HIV. Doctors used a new transplant method. Umbilical cord blood. Sharon Lewis, president-elect of the International AIDS Society.
It's proof that a cure is possible for HIV.
A heartbreaker for the U.S. men's hockey team at the Winter Olympics. Correspondent Steve.
Americans were 43.7 seconds away from advancing to the semifinal round. That's when Slovakia tied the game in regulation. It went to overtime. It then went to a penalty shootout, and in the shootout, Slovakia eliminates the American men's team.
The Rams will be basking in the glow of adoring fans at a Super Bowl victory parade in LA today.
The entire team worked very hard, and they pulled through, and they represented the city.
The parade steps off from the Shrine Auditorium in just a few hours outside the Coliseum. Dow down 189. This is CBS News.
Find your next great hire with Indeed. Our hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Carlos Santana.
Got a black magic woman.
Saturday, April 16th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Party and play with the guitar god, Santana.
Give me your heart and make it real, or else forget about it.
Tickets start at $66.50. On sale now at the box offices or online. Santana, the legend is live. Santana. At Soaring Eagle Casino. Details at SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that the widely used non-contact thermometers are not accurate and have high probabilities for false negative readings. New COVID strands are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters most. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Don't wait. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com for Sullivan's Food is sold out, but you can still check them out online and in person. And don't forget to keep checking back because there are still a ton of deals on RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Hey team, it's a full house. We got to pick up the pace.
At Hank's Restaurant, the line goes around the block.
This for 12? Okay, I need the truffle oil drizzle.
What he needs is another line cook.
Oh man, are the quail breasts still in the sous vide? Dave, can you keep an eye on that, please?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first. Conditions apply.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Cloudy skies and 48 degrees at 10:05. Good morning. I'm Mike Percha. Emergency crews are currently on the scene of an injury accident in near Bay City on Wilder Road at Bangor Road, while the road is completely closed to traffic at this time. Again, the accident near Bay City. Emergency crews on the scene at Wilder Road at Bangor Road. While the road is completely closed to traffic this time, you will need to find an alternate route if you happen to be in the area. A 22-year-old man was discovered dead in Genesee County last night. State police responded to the 14,000 block of Bilsey Road in Thetford. Police believe the man's death is suspicious as the investigation continues. No other details are currently available. In honor of Black History Month, Saginaw Valley State University's Office of Diversity Programs is presenting The New Jim Crow, A Courageous Conversation with author Michelle Alexander this evening. Alexander will discuss mass incarceration in the U.S. justice system and racial chaos. She's a legal scholar, social justice advocate, columnist at the New York Times, and visiting professor at Union Theological Seminary in New York City. The virtual presentation starts at 7 p.m. You can register for free on the SVSU website. Cedar Point is hiring for the 2022 season. They have about 6,500 seasonal jobs that start at $15 an hour for most non-tipped positions. Positions are available in all park operating areas, including bartenders and servers, custodial, guest services and events, hotel operations, and more. The park also plans full-time positions for management and operations roles across a number of areas in the park, including in maintenance, food and beverage, IT, and others. Perks include discounts, reward and recognition programs, and free admission to any Cedar Park site. On-site housing is also available for eligible associates. WSGW News Time 10:07.
At Wildfire Credit Union, our team will tell you that everything we do is for our members because it's about you always.
One of my wildfire coworkers contacted me after 5 p.m. one day. She was working with a member in a rush to meet with the seller of a vehicle. I double-checked her loan application right then. I emailed it out to her while she was on her way to the branch so that she could sign electronically. We had her check ready for her when she arrived by 6 p.m. Teamwork makes the dream work. For our member, the dream was finding a car, applying for a loan, and buying it in one day. And the Wildfire team made it work.
Saving members money, providing personalized service, going the extra mile. That's Wildfire Credit Union. Find out for yourself. Call Wildfire location to experience banking the way it's supposed to be, where it's about you always. Wildfire Credit Union. Distinctively better. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
WSGW News Time 10:08. The weather forecast is coming up. A West Michigan principal who changed grades of about 50 students has resigned. Spring Lake High School principal Mike Gilchrist apologized before his resignation was accepted by the school board. The grading 8-year period. Gilchrist has been with the district for 21 years. Teachers were not aware of the changes. Some of the changes were made to his own children's grades. Democratic lawmakers are pushing a proposed set of bills for safer gun ownership. The secure firearm storage bills would require guns to be stored safely and provide criminal penalties if failure to safely store a gun results in injury or death. Attorney General Dana Nessel was in Lansing Tuesday afternoon in support of the legislation.
We absolutely need to our kids us to pass laws that require safety measures that are followed.
Be with
when
you
guns are around
shortly,
children.
Christine.
Simple as that.
Nessel says there have been over 30
Say
cases
something so I
of
can
gun
hear you.
deaths or injuries.
Oh, hi, how you doing, Art?
Good. There you go.
In Wayne County.
We'll be with you in just a few minutes. Hang on. I
Northern
turned the
Michigan
video
man is
off when we're
facing
not on.
domestic
So hang on.
violence and other charges after allegedly assaulting his wife over cold pizza. 30-year-old Ross Spreeman was arrested Saturday night in Otsego Lake Township. He is accused of hurting his wife and threatening to shoot one of their dogs after waking up to a pizza that had gone cold. His wife says he had been drinking. Spreeman was arraigned on assault and unlawful imprisonment. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom at 752-0790. It's 1010. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology forecast. A wind advisory is in effect here for the forecast area. We'll see a few scattered rain showers possible late today. Otherwise, cloudy sky conditions, a high into the upper 40s. Winds out of the southwest around 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusting as high as 45. And then for tonight, a good chance for some rain showers here, then a chance for rain and snow mixing, becoming all snow late. Cloudy skies, a low near 30. By Thursday, a good chance for some snow showers here for the day. Rain and sleet early on, about an inch possible to accumulate. Cloudy, temperatures steady early, then slowly fall through the day. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 46.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show from my Saginaw Spirit Home studio, brought to you by Linda Shepard at Pinnacle Realty. For all your residential and commercial real estate needs, give Linda a call at 989-295-7713 and put her to work for you. Or stop in and visit her at The Point, M46 and M47 in Saginaw Township, where you'll also find Cafe 476 and its delicious soups, foods, and beverages. Later on in this hour, we're going to talk to former Detroit Police Chief James Craig, running for governor. But before we do that, we're going to learn how not to shout at each other and maybe how to listen a lot more. Wouldn't that be a unique thing to do? And we're going to find out about that with the author of a book called What It's Costing You Not to Listen. We say good morning to Christine Miles. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning, Art. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being on. All right, what prompted this book? Let's start with that.
Well, I've spent a career and a lifetime on the subject of listening and trying to help people learn how to listen differently to drive results. But I think the pandemic and what's happening in the world last year just prompted me that it was time to try to get the message out even more so. Because as you said, wouldn't it be nice if we did a little bit more of this in this climate?
It seems to me the more polarized we get, the more we shout at each other. And I've often held the philosophy in debating people and in talking to people, yelling and screaming at me doesn't make you right. Just makes you loud.
Yeah, well, I absolutely agree with that. And if it were effective, that might be different, but it's really not. We get further away from what I think we want to accomplish, which is to try to find, common ground. The more we shout, the further away we get.
That's an interesting theory. But yet, you look at the wave of political commercials that shout at us in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what state you're in, lawyers that shout at you one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
It must work for somebody because they keep doing it.
Well, let me take a step back. It probably is working for some people, but by and large, I think we're all suffering more as a result, not less. That's the first thing. The second is we're really not taught how to listen. So I think we're blaming people for not knowing how to do it, when the reality is we've been told but not taught. There's 0 years of education on listening in our education system. So we're teaching people to tell, talk, and know, and now we're in a crisis of telling, talking, and knowing.
Well, somewhere along the line, we transitioned, because when I went to school, I was told to shut up in the classroom unless I raised my hand, and I was told to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere along the line, that educational setup has disappeared in life after school, so to speak.
Yeah, well, I think, we can shut up, but that doesn't mean we're listening. So listening is a skill. I mean, so I think you're talking about respect and giving people some room to talk, and maybe that's what's getting lost. But in reality, this is a skill. It's an assumed skill. It's like legs. You're born with legs, you'll learn to walk. You're born with ears, you'll learn to listen. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. So if it doesn't work that way, now you've written a book to try and teach us, but realistically, can someone learn to listen who's never been a listener?
That's an excellent question. It used to be thought no, but we now know from the neuroscience that the brain is flexible. And when you've never put time on task, it's hard to develop that muscle. So that's part of the problem. We're waiting till a later point to go, hey, I had a client that said, you've been flexing this muscle since you were little. I said, yeah, I was about 5 when I started. I'm just starting now. I said, yes, but it's not too late. But you need to be armed with the tools to do it. You need to know how, not just what to do, but how to do it.
We'll get to that in a minute, but I do have to put forth this notion that as listeners, we only tend to listen to that which we agree with. And that's been, I sit here as a talk show host. It's been the success of talk radio for a long time now, because people will seek out those who say what they want to hear and block out the other side, which is not good listening.
No, and in your world, you're seeking to understand different points of view. So you are bringing different points of view to the table.
I try.
Yeah, and it's hard sometimes, right? Because our brain is an enemy of listening. While it can be our friend because it's flexible and we can learn new things, it's also the thing that keeps us stuck. It's a very powerful engine that's taking over in the listening process. So seeking to understand is a different kind of listening rather than seeking to agree. And we have more in common than we have that we're disagreeing about. We just don't know how to find those common grounds when we're so polarized.
Oh, I've said that so many times. We're talking to Christine Miles. She has authored the book, What It Is Costing You Not to Listen. So let's delve inside the book. Do you teach people how to listen in this book?
I do.
Is Is there an audio version of it that we?
There is. The audio version will be out. That's well said. The audio version will be out in about a month or so and part of what I wrote in the book is, look, you as a listener, you become a guide in the conversation. When you seek to understand, by the way, that's a much more powerful form of communication because fundamentally, you said it earlier, people don't like to be told what to do and it doesn't work. So I could tell you to change your mind, change your opinion, but guess what? It's not going to work. When I seek to understand you, then I stand a chance of finding that common ground. So how you seek to understand is what I outline in the book, and really how to do that in a very fundamental and simple way.
All right, hang on. I want to take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about those principles.
Okay.
Talking to Christine Miles. Again, the book is What Is It? Let me read it and make sure I get it right. What is it costing you not to listen? And we will be back with Christine right after these messages here on the Art Lewis Show.
Great Lakes Bay Health Centers would like to remind you that building a defense against COVID-19 will take all of us. That's why we're proud to offer not only COVID testing, but also free COVID vaccines at multiple locations. Visit GreatLakesBayHealthCenters.org for comprehensive information. You. The only way this pandemic will end is with us. So let's all do our part to stay healthy and get vaccinated. Please remember to continue following safety measures to keep yourself, your family, and our community safe. Together, we can finally end COVID-19.
Stop in and save with everything you need for your home right now at Menards. Update your appliances with top brands including Whirlpool, Amana, KitchenAid, Maytag, and Criterion. Check out the largest in-stock selection to take home today at the lowest prices. Upgrade to new energy-efficient appliances and save big money on all of them. Now, during Menards Race to Savings Sale. Prices are good through February 19th.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458, 800-481-1458, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. They fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. We can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Americans were still shopping and eating in restaurants last month, even though they were paying more, and there were disruptions caused by the COVID Omicron variant. Retail sales rose 3.8% in January. Excluding autos, the increase was Auto prices have skyrocketed in recent months because chip and other parts shortages have resulted in fewer cars to buy. For example, Sonic Automotive actually sold fewer new and used cars in the recent quarter, but it's reporting record earnings. It was able to charge more for cars. Sonic is raising its dividend. Android phones are about to receive new privacy restrictions. Google, a unit of Alphabet, says it will put restraints on advertising following the lead of Apple. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Biden's massive spending plans by taking money out of your pocket, but you can fight back against runaway inflation by sheltering your IRA or 401k with gold through Birch Gold Group. This is Stephen K. Bannon, and I'm proud to be a customer of Birch Gold. Join me. Birch Gold has created a free info kit on protecting your retirement with gold in a tax-sheltered account. Just text the words SHELTER to 989898. Text SHELTER to 989898 and learn how to shelter your IRA or 401k with gold.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. You want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Michigan Wolverines basketball returns Thursday night. The Maize and Blue host the Iowa Hawkeyes in a Big Ten battle in Ann Arbor. Listen Wednesday night as the Wolverines try to get back in the win column with coverage beginning at 6:30 p.m. on 790 News Radio WSGW. Go Blue!
All right, we're back with you, and we are talking to Christine Miles. She has written the book called What It Is Costing You Not to Listen. And one of the disadvantages of working from my home studio right now, you'll have to excuse me. My wife is baking cookies, and it's all wafting in here. To the studio.
Wow, that sounds great.
I don't know about listening, but I certainly am smelling, I'll tell you that. All right, so Christine, you say there are principles to follow to be a good listener. Let's talk about some of those.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for saying the name of the book several times, not just because it's the book title, but because it's a question I want people to be asking themselves. Because what I know is that what's going on in society is just the the escalation of the problem, that it's happening at home. We're losing in our relationships. We're losing with our spouses, our friends, our children. So I want your listeners to ask themselves that question as I help them understand how to do this a little differently, because I call it death by 1,000 cuts. We're wounding each other every day and not aware of it. So it's a big problem we don't know we have. And so how do we stop the gaping wounds from happening is really to tune in and listen to understand and let go of, having to be right and argue and convince, but really to understand.
Oh. Letting go of having to be right in this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck with it.
Well, we're fighting about one or two issues, really. Like, we're not fighting about everything. We're fighting about one or two things. And part of the brain, we're getting fed a lot of stories, and that story is escalating. That's part of the bombardment of all the media and the things that we're hearing about.
So let me ask, what's been the role of social media in all of this that has separated us rather than joined us?
Well, it's amazing, right? Like, look at what happened in the pandemic. You're working from home, smelling cookies when your wife's baking and still working. Thank goodness. But it's also disconnected us. It's dehumanized communication too much. And that's part of what's missing. So we have to get back to the human element of listening. Would I be screaming and yelling at you if I know your wife just died, or you lost a child, or you were in a car accident? Probably not. Even if you're a stranger, my human element's going to kick in. We're just not taking the time to really understand there's probably more of the story going on. And even the person behind the social media, I think we're all thirsting in some way through this disconnection to be understood. So instead of arguing and yelling, if we could lean into, I don't need to agree with you, but if I understand you, then the human element comes into play more.
Can you take these lessons to Congress?
I'd like to.
I'd like you to.
It's not that true. And look, what are we frustrated about? Things aren't getting done. There's many people have heard of Chris Voss. He's an FBI former negotiator, and he says if you want to get something done, become an expert in empathy. So the issue is, how do you become an expert in empathy? People are confused. They think you're empathetic and then you listen. It's really listening that leads to empathy. And you can start at home. Yeah.
That's interesting. I've always, I don't know that I'm a great listener outside of this realm.
Mm-hmm.
In this realm, I have to listen
mm-hmm.
because it leads to the next thing that happens, and after that, and after that. But I'm not sure I'm a good listener outside. And I tend to, what's the words I'm looking for? I tend to shut people out. I don't even hear them. I focus so much sometimes that I disregard what's going on around me.
Yeah.
Not a good thing
Not
either.
alone. You're not alone. It's a hard skill. So when I say simple, I don't mean easy, but what I do know, and I'm an athlete by background, and I wasn't the most talented, so I had to really break down the skills to really be successful. It's the same with listening. Again, we've really never been taught. We're all winging it, and you wouldn't go into like the woods, and this is part of the analogy in the book, and try to survive for 3 weeks without the proper tools and equipment and things you need. And conversations are kind of like the woods. Like, you can get lost, you can get off track, there's danger. So how do you arm yourself to really do this well?
So where do you start? Someone who hasn't been a good listener,
Mhm.
what do you tell them to do? How do they begin?
Yeah. So a really simple thing to do, and especially with this climate and lowering the volume, is that again, we tend to listen to argue and we also chase facts. So we argue a lot about facts and thinking. So you probably ask these questions all day long. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't, but there's 6 really powerful questions that great journalists and therapists use. And one of them is, how does that make you feel? So let's start asking about feelings rather than just facts, because I don't need to agree with your feelings, but I can understand them. And then it's harder to argue about that. Well, you feel angry, you feel upset, you feel hurt. Tell me more. It's another question. So when you seek to learn more, you actually lower the volume rather than escalate it.
It's interesting you talk about feelings because facts can be another person's fiction.
That's right.
Feelings are personal.
Feelings are personal, and that's the human element that I think, look, we're busy, we're bombarded, we're all overwhelmed. Now this shutdown has created like a vacuum of we have so much feeling that we're not talking about. We're not socialized to really talk about our feelings, to ask about feelings. This is an important business question as well as personal question, because business is very personal. So if you want to get to good results in your personal and business life, ask how somebody feels, like your spouse, your child. We had a gentleman just about 2 months ago. We were teaching the framework of how to listen differently. And he said he got the first unsolicited hug from his 16-year-old daughter that he had gotten in 3 years.
Wow.
In one day, he got that result.
The book is What It's Costing You Not to Listen. It's author Christine Miles with us for a few more minutes this morning. So, Christine, I have to ask, what's your background?
Well, my
You mentioned
background
athletics.
yeah, I was an athlete at one point. My background's in psychology. I started my career actually as a home-based family therapist. So I used to go into people's houses at 22. I know we're all faking it, and the problems are at home as well. But really, my passion started when I was 5 because I had a dad who was an entrepreneur that really knew how to listen to his customers, and a mother who had some psychological issues that she came by from early childhood loss. So part of my role in the family was really to listen to what wasn't said and understand things that were going on beneath the surface. And my success has always been attributed to that ability from a very young age. And so I see the more I focus on the problem of not listening, the more I realize it solves most problems.
Are you in private practice today?
I have my own company called Equipped. That's EQUIPT. We help equip people with the skill of listening, the human skills, how to show up and really connect in different ways.
Which would lead me to the next question. Is there a website?
There is a website. Yes, thank you. It's equipped-people. That's EQUIPT-people.com.
And what are we going to find on that website?
Well, you're going to find what we do is largely help companies, but we do coaching as well. So we want to transform how businesses listen. The beauty of that is there's a business impact, but like I just told you in that story, we also are affecting personal lives through that. So our mission is really to create a movement where listening is regarded as the most powerful form of communication. Let's change the paradigm of what we're doing.
So how can I phrase this? Good listeners. All right, let's look at it this way. It's often said that if you are addicted to drugs, alcohol, or have mental illness, you have to reach rock bottom before you seek help.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true for listeners too, that they don't realize they're not listening and somehow in some way in their life they reach a point where they realize it?
I wish in some ways, although I don't like to hear people hit rock bottom. You know what? It's interesting. One of the things we have to do is help people see that even when they're trying, they're failing, and it's not their fault. It's not for lack of effort or caring. I believe fundamentally it's really for lack of skill. So it's so exciting to see how people go, why wasn't I shown this before? You know, if once they decide to do it, the results come very quickly. Now, I had a client that said one time after a workshop, he said, "This works every time I do it, if I remember." And I said, that's the discipline part in retraining our brains. And we help with that too. So my goal was to make this as accessible and simple and easy, to do, but then it does take the work and practice, but the results come so quickly that becomes addictive. Like when you get that hug that you haven't gotten, you're hooked. You want more of that. You want more connection, not less.
Well, I kind of look at this like an athlete would look at muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do it repetitively for that muscle to learn the golf swing, for example.
Yep.
And you're teaching your brain the same way, aren't you?
You are, and I tell a story in the book because I'm a golfer. I was involved in a motor vehicle accident when I was 28, and I've spent 10 years kind of fighting my way back to a different level of function. So that athletic career went away. When I went to learn golf, I had one golf coach that I didn't get any better. And then I had a gentleman that helped me, and he told me 5 fundamental things, and my score went down exponentially. So that's the same. If you get the wrong coaching, it's not going to be helpful. You have to train your brain in a simple and methodical way to get there simply, and then put time on task to get there. But again, the rewards come when you hit the ball down the fairway. It's a lot easier day, isn't it?
Yeah. Good. Send me those 5 things.
They're in the book. I'll send you a book.
All right. Well, there you. I'll do that because my next question is, where can you buy the book? How can you get a hold of it?
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and also as whatisitcostingyounottolisten.com.
Well, excellent. Christine, this has been a pleasure.
You as well.
Truly enjoyed it, and we'll have to do it again sometime.
I would love that, and I will send you a book. I'd love to.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Enjoy the cookies. Thanks for having me on.
I will. Unfortunately, I will. Thanks, Christine. Bye-bye now. Christine Miles, again, the book is What It Is Costing You Not to Listen. Fascinating gal and great ideas. Love to talk to her. We're going to take a break. When we come back within a couple of minutes, we'll be talking to former Detroit Police Chief James Craig, who is a Republican candidate for governor.
We've all seen how unpredictable life can be, but here's one thing you can count on. The Covenant Center for the Heart.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
More people in the Great Lakes Bay region trust their hearts to Covenant Healthcare than any other area hospital. Why? Because we have the most comprehensive cardiac care in the region. From guidance to the region's first structural heart disease program, to our cardiac rehabilitation and wellness center. And because we keep our patients safe, Covenant has been awarded an A rating for patient safety from the Leapfrog Group 7 times running. So if you have an existing heart condition, call your cardiologist. If you experience symptoms like chest pain or shortness of breath, call 911 or come to the Covenant Emergency Care Center. Don't delay care. Life and hearts can be unpredictable. Trust yours to Covenant Healthcare, the leader for extraordinary care.
It could be the best years of your life. You'll finally get to do what you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh & Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Since the pandemic, I'm so anxious all the time.
I need someone to talk to who's not going to judge me.
For emotional support any time of the day or night, talk to a Stay Well counselor. Dial 1-888-535-6136 and press 8. It's free and confidential, and one of the many ways to stay mentally healthy. Learn more at michigan.gov/staywell. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
With this week's Spirit in 60, I'm Joey Bottano. The Spirit hit the ice again Friday night when they traveled to take on the Storm. It was the Storm who they matched up with last on Saturday night at the Dow Event Center, with Welk handing the team a 7-3 loss. A bright spot in the game was the 20th goal of the season from Buffalo Sabres prospect Josh Bloom.
Chance right in front, Josh Bloom scores. And so the Spirit get it right back and have cut the Guelph lead to 4 goals once again, now 7-3.
Home to the Dow Event Center Saturday night, taking on the Sarnia Sting. Puck drop is scheduled for 7:05. The Spirit hit the road Monday afternoon to take on the Windsor Spitfires. That game scheduled for $205. For tickets and more information, log on to SaginawSpirit.com or visit our new offices at 6321 State Street in Saginaw Township. With this week's Spirit in 60, I'm Joey Batano.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and even great smokers rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM.
Everyone loves shopping online. Well, I'm going to tell you what I tell my golf buddies when they buy clubs. Stop searching for coupon codes. Download Capital One Shopping to your computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. Plus, it's free, and you don't even need a Capital One card to use it. That's like hitting a hole-in-one without even trying. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary.
The WSGW Morning Team Show.
WSW online poll, the public school curricular transparency. Republicans in the Michigan House introducing a public school transparency bill. It would require districts to list all curriculum, books, writing assignments, planned field trips for the public before the start of a school year. And supporters say among things that this bill would do is ensure that critical race theory is not taught in Michigan schools. Right now it is taught at the university level, but the CRT is not taught at the K-12 level in Michigan schools. And if schools would fail to release curriculums, districts would be risking up to the loss of 5% of yearly state funding. Provide such information to parents, and this bill could lead to things maybe like censoring of curriculum or even teacher intimidation. We want to know what you think. Would you support a public school curriculum transparency bill for Michigan? It's yes, it's no, it's I'm not sure. You tell us what you think by going to WSW.com. You scroll on the homepage, find the poll box, and you vote that way.
The Morning Team Show, weekdays 5:30 to 9 on WSGW. The WSGW Broadcasting Studios are sponsored by the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design Center in Midland.
All right, we're back with you here on the Art Lewis Show for this, what is it, Wednesday? Yeah, midweek already. Wow. Halfway through the month, over halfway through the month of February. My next guest is running for governor of the state of Michigan. His law enforcement career took him full circle. He started out in 1977 as a Detroit patrol officer. After a couple of years, moved on to Los Angeles, where he served the Los Angeles Police Department, rising through the ranks for 28 years before moving on to be chief of one of my favorite cities, Portland, Maine. From there, chief of Cincinnati, Ohio's Police Department, and finally returning home, the full circle, if you will, of his law enforcement career as chief of the Detroit Police Department, before retiring and then announcing that he is a candidate for governor. We say good morning to Chief James Craig. Chief, good morning to you.
And thank you for giving one of my fine cities, Portland, Maine, a shout out. It was a great city. I got to tell you, very different city than any place I've worked. You know, when you think about Detroit and Los Angeles, people thought I was out of my mind and needed to go see a doctor after choosing to go to Portland after spending almost 2 decades in Los Angeles. But it was a great city. And Cincinnati, where I was chief of Cincinnati. So I guess you're wondering, Super Bowl, Cincinnati, LA Rams, or I should say the Detroit Rams. How about the Detroit Rams?
Or Stafford, which, you know.
Exactly.
Well, you know, Portland, I could eat my way through Commercial Street, probably never end.
Yeah, Commercial Street. Remember it well.
All right. So Chief, you know, a lengthy, distinguished career in law enforcement. You retire, you would think, okay, it's time to enjoy life, travel, do all those things. But no, you decide to run for governor. What brought that about?
Well, you know, I'm a lifelong public servant. 44 years as a public servant. You know, I've always enjoyed serving people. And I will tell you what I've seen happening both at the national and state level is discouraging. And we can just complain. We need to vote. We can complain about everything is wrong, but we need to get out and vote. But I felt, as a person who has served in significant leadership roles and been very effective in the roles, I felt, and I did not want to run for office ever throughout my career. It was something that I was, I guess, drawn to even as far back as when I was leaving Cincinnati to come to Detroit, and local business owners approached me and said, "We don't want you to go to Detroit. It's a mess. Stay with us. We want to run you as the mayor of Cincinnati." And I was humbled by that. And I said, "No, I got to go home." I was called, and I'm glad I did. 8 years as chief. We've done so much great work together in this city. A lot of things changed. As you know, we were one of few major cities that didn't burn, no looting, like in so many places around our country in 2020. But as I continue to see and was discouraged by the lack or absence of leadership at both our state and federal level, I said, I'm best suited to do this. And I say that very humbly. As I've gone around the state, all I can tell you, there's a lot of momentum. People are excited. And so, I mean, it happens every day. People are talking to me. They want me to do this.
Let me.
So, and by the way,
go ahead. Go ahead. Finish up.
No, what I was going to say in closing out on that point, I'm not a big person on polls. I mean, and maybe it's because I'm not a politician. But, you know, polls have showed me basically in a dead heat with the incumbent governor. Some showed me ahead, some showed me behind, but two of them showed me in a dead heat. But one of the things that I took away, Art, that was encouraging, you know, Michigan's a purple state. There are a lot of independents, don't claim Democrat, but they just want the best person in the seat to do the job. And I see that as a tremendous opportunity.
Yeah.
I get asked oftentimes, you know, you're from Detroit, what impact can you have on voters turning out for you? And I said it's significant. What number, I don't know. I mean, I'm branded in Detroit because I was police chief here for 8 years, and they know the body of work.
Yeah. Let me ask, because you're running as a Republican, so I'm going to ask you about a couple of Democrats and get your reaction, because I think it's going to be different for the two of them. Let's start with the governor, because that's who you're running against, assuming she's going to run for office again. How do you assess Whitmer?
Well, let me just say this. You know, being the CEO of the state is not an easy job. But I can tell you, when you look at her background, she's a lifelong politician. She did a short stint as the head of the Ingham County Prosecutor's Office. And let me start talking about that right now, because I have some concerns about the DA in there now. But she has not been in a leadership role, a significant leadership role. Being a Speaker of the House does not qualify you as CEO of the state. Now, of course, she's a politician. I will tell you, in my humble opinion, leaders, people who have been tried and true leaders, folks that have been in crisis management, understand a couple of things: how to mobilize people, how to bring people to the table. This partisan politics stuff that's going on about today in our state, in our country, there's nothing for the people, nothing at all. We're divided. And look, I've been in rooms with folks that, frankly, they didn't much like me, and I didn't much like them. More about people in Detroit. We worked through our differences. We came up with solutions, and we got the job done. Yeah. Part of our success in 2020 was bringing people to the table that came out and supported us during what could have potentially been a riot.
Right.
You got to bring people together.
Hang on, Chief. I've got to take a quick break. We'll come back and talk more. We're talking to Chief James Craig, the former Detroit police chief, who is now running as a Republican for governor in the state of Michigan. And we will have more right after these notes on the Art Lewis Show.
Your career takes flight when you join the winning teams at Soaring Eagles Landing. The premier gaming and entertainment destinations in Michigan are currently hiring for a wide variety of positions for all levels of experience. Visit us online at SoaringEagleCasino.com for a full list of openings and learn about all the benefits and the new $15 an hour minimum wage. Apply today at Soaring Eagle Casino Resort and Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier. In Empower Your Retirement, they talk about how a well-thought-out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Why would you pay full price when you know that you can save at RocketGrabPlus.com? You can check out our deals going on right now from Nom Nom Ninja, 120 Fitness, the Salt Room and Wellness Spa, Uplift Creative Center, Joyce's Purple Palette, Woody's Hot Dogs, Wonder Burger, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? You bet. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com. RocketGrabPlus.com.
Yes, I'm so sorry about the wait, ma'am. I'll be with you. How many appointments did you book at 2:30?
Jim's physical therapy clinic is pretty stretched. He needs another PT before patients get bent out of shape.
You get fresh ice back in the Davis's new.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey guys, there is some important news that all men should take very seriously. Your prostate health. Are you urinating more frequently? Are you waking up at night to urinate? Are you sick and tired of prostate pills that just don't work? Sound of the millions of men with prostate problems that are driving you nuts, there is some great news. Prosthogenics is the all-natural product that beat over 157 other prostate supplements in lab tests and was rated the #1 most powerful prostate supplement in the world. #1, because it works. So why not try some Prosthogenics, and your prostate troubles will be a thing of the past. You'll get a great night's sleep and stop waking up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. To get your free bottle of Prosthogenics, call now, 800-600-2020. That's 1-800-600-2020. Take advantage. Guarantee. Call 800-600-2020. Do it now.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robin show,
will Biden send the lying dog-faced pony soldiers to Ukraine?
I think just the dog-faced soldiers. Ponies are dangerous.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
And we're back with you talking to Chief James Craig, the retired police chief from Detroit, who is now running for governor. I mentioned to you, Chief, that I was going to ask you about two people. The second one, also a Democrat, is the mayor of Detroit, Mike Duggan. We have a connection here. We have a connection here because his sister-in-law is the president, CEO of Ascension St. Mary's. She and her husband, Jim, his brother, live here, and I know them well. But I'm curious as to what your assessment is of Mayor Duggan.
Let me just say, and this is not about party. I was fortunate to serve with Mayor Duggan. I've talked a lot about Mayor Duggan on the campaign trail. There's a couple of things I can say about him. First of all, in 2020, I brought up 2020 when other cities was burning. Numerous conversations during events that could have gone real bad. Mayor Duggan supported me. He said, just do your job. And yes, he was concerned. I was concerned. We were all concerned. We didn't know what to expect.
Yep.
But we got it done. The mayor is tireless, relentless in making Detroit a better city. And I use this in comparison to the governor. So you know what happened recently? The company made a decision to move their electric vehicle operations to both not Flint, but Tennessee and Kentucky.
Right.
Move their operations. And then the administration's response was, well, I didn't know. Well, that's not acceptable. We know manufacturing, tourism, and agriculture are three economic drivers of our state. Underpinning manufacturing is what? In our state, automobile industry. So guess what? As a CEO of the state, you have to have a significant relationship with these folks. That said, Mayor Duggan, conversely, Atlantis was considering building a new plant. Mayor Duggan vigorously pursued them, relentlessly pursued them. And I know, and even though I was a police chief, I was fortunate to serve as Mayor Duggan's deputy mayor. He pursued Chrysler. And guess what happened? For the first time in 30 years, a new plant, automobile plant, was built on the east side of Detroit.
Yeah, I was
3,000 jobs.
I was fortunate to be part of a meeting here in Saginaw with Mayor Duggan, in which he talked about economic development, and he is a tiger when it comes to that. He is there's nobody better, I don't think. But Chief, let's get back to your campaign and some things you have done recently. You came out and said you stood with the truckers fighting for freedom in Canada. Explain that position, if you would.
Okay, well, I'm all about freedom. And, you know, one thing that I hear a lot, and I just said many from, not all, but some from the left, they're hypocritical. I'm about freedom. And so you demonize these truck drivers, you refer to them as racist, and of weighing in was simply this. I felt strongly that our president, that our governor, because of the significant impact this is having to our economy and their economy, need to assertively sit down with Trudeau, who's a socialist, and say, look, back off of these mandates. Isn't it amazing now that the mandates are falling across Canada? The mask, the vaccine, it's magical.
Yeah.
Leaders, when you're in a leadership position, Art, sometimes you don't get it right. When you don't get it right, own it. Eat a little humble pie. Understand, because 90% of Canada is vaccinated. So because of your ego and arrogance, you decide, well, I'm going to stand my ground. No, that's the wrong approach. These people are fighting for freedom, and I stand with them. And then so my critics would say, well, one critic was the AG here in Michigan. She criticized me because I took a position of those committing crimes. Well. Isn't that an interesting response? Let's go back to 2020, when cities were burning. And the 7 days out of the 100-plus days that Detroit holding the line, there were times when our officers were attacked, some injured, not a peep. Look, I'm right down the middle. If you commit a violent crime, we need to make sure folks are held accountable. Now, also, I would remind folks that also during those 100-plus days of protest, as these folks marched, most days they were peaceful. We didn't enforce curfew law. In fact, Mike Duggan and I, we talked about it. He said, what are you going to do, Chief? The first day we enforced curfew. The protesters were peaceful. They were marching down, took up the streets, making noise and chanting, but they were peaceful. So I made a decision to allow them to take over the streets, moving, of course, not setting up autonomous zones. That was non-negotiable. But my point is, I'm consistent. And to even suggest that, and I get the whole impact to our economy, but who could have stopped this was Prime Minister Trudeau.
Oh, yeah.
He could have stopped it.
Well, look, Chief, I have to interrupt for time here, but I must also tell you I'm the co-chair of the Crime Prevention Council here in Saginaw County, and I'd love to talk to you sometime about policing and the notion of defunding policing. We'll have to do that in the near future. But
please do.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for spending some time with us this morning. And we're here. We'd love to do it again with you down the road.
Absolutely. I'm coming out your way soon, so it'd be nice to do it in-person meet.
Love to see you.
To hanging out in Saginaw Township, Midland, Flint. So I'm excited about it.
We'll look forward to it. Thanks for being with us today.
All right.
Have a good one.
Okay.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye now. Bye. Chief James Craig, a Republican candidate for governor. We thank him for being with us. We're going to take our last break, be back to close out this edition of the Art Lewis Show.
Your day starts before the sun rises. Once your boots hit the ground, you head out to a field, a barn, or a tractor. As stewards of the land, you know anything worth doing is worth doing right. At Farm Bureau Insurance, we've always believed in and practiced this same philosophy. From heaving bales and weaning calves to spring seeding and fall harvests, it's all about an honest day's work. Knowing your insurance provider is rooted in Michigan offers comfort. At Farm Bureau Insurance, the experience you get with our local trusted advisors is different. From financial security to a helping hand, Farm Bureau understands the experience matters. Find an agent who can
Find your coverage in Vassar, Millington, and Mayville. Call Denny Miller at 989-823-8493.
Do you promise to love, honor, and cherish, forsaking all others?
I do.
I do.
And now, by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you roommates. Go forth.
That's not the vow you took. But if struggles with CPAP have you and your spouse sleeping in separate rooms, it might be time to look into Inspire. Inspire works inside the body with just a click of a remote. That's right, just a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation.
Talk to your doctor to see if Inspire is right for you. Review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Did you know that doctors use Mucinex? That's right. Mucinex is the #1 OTC brand doctors trust for themselves and their families. When you have cough and chest congestion, you need a medicine that's effective and long-lasting. So with cold and flu season upon us, anything else. Mucinex 12-hour DM extended release bilayer tablets allow for immediate and extended release, relieving cough and chest congestion for 12 hours. Grab Mucinex and put yourself back in control. Use as directed.
Time flies when you're having fun. My thanks to Christine Miles earlier and Chief James Craig for joining us. And we will be back tomorrow with lots more. Coming up, we'll focus on your heart with a guest from McLaren Bay Region. All of that is ahead, and it will happen right after the news.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kathan. Russian tanks on the move in Crimea. Moscow says it's evidence of a troop pullback. CBS's Cammie McCormick reports the to back up that claim as it warns of a possible invasion of Ukraine.
NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said there are no signs of de-escalation by Russia.
We face a dangerous moment for European security.
And he said while Russia has indicated it's willing to continue talking,
while we continue to work for the best, we must also be prepared for the worst.
The NATO ministers will be discussing how to build up defenses during the biggest security crisis in Europe in decades.
President Biden is ordering the release of Trump White House visitor logs to the House panel investigating the Capitol attack. Mr. Trump tried to claim executive privilege. A Massachusetts study suggests it's too soon to lift mask mandates in schools because many kids aren't vaccinated or eligible yet to get shots. Brown University's Dr. Ashish Jha tells CBS Mornings he's not on board with that.
I think it's very reasonable to lift mask mandates in schools. If kids want to wear masks, there's no downside to that. There's no restriction on that. But I don't know that we need to
Fiery scene on New York's Long Island. A big gas tanker carrying more than 9,000 gallons of fuel overturned into a furniture store and burst into flames. Rockville Center Fire Chief James Avendeck lives nearby.
There was fire everywhere in the street. There was fire coming out of 7 or 8 manhole covers about a quarter mile down the road.
The truck driver was injured. Fuel did end up in the local sewer system. Overseas, disaster struck in Beijing for the U.S. men's hockey team at the Olympics.
The Americans were undefeated entering this quarterfinal match and were 43.7 seconds away from advancing to the semifinal round, but Slovakia ties the game in regulation that forces it into a 10-minute overtime. Or in the overtime, then it went to penalty shots, and that's when Slovakia beats the U.S. The Americans are out of the men's Olympic hockey tournament. Steve Futterman, CBS News at the Winter Olympics in Beijing.
Well, people showed a willingness to spend as the Omicron variant began to ease last month. CBS's Jill Schlesinger says the government reports retail sales rose 3.8% in January.
Furniture sales rebounded by 7.2%, and department store sales were up by 9.2%. The one area of weakness was bar and restaurant spending, which was down by 0.9%.
Right now on Wall Street, the Dow is down 253 points. NASDAQ is down 140. This is CBS News.
There's always something new under the sun. CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Why would you pay full price when you know that you can save at RocketGrabPlus.com? You can check out our deals going on right now from Nom Nom Ninja, 120 Fitness, the Salt Room and Wellness Spa, Uplift Creative Center, Joyce's Purple Palette, Woody's Hot Dogs, Wonder Burger, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? You bet. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
Everyone loves shopping online. Well, I'm going to tell you what I tell my golf buddies when they buy clubs. Stop searching for coupon codes. Download Capital One Shopping to your computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. Plus, it's free, and you don't even need a Capital One card to use it. That's like hitting a hole in one without even trying. Capital One Shopping. In your wallet.
Savings and available coupons vary.
What's done more to improve overall health and wellness, modern medicine or personal hygiene? Actually, it's both. But considering that bathing went mainstream in the 1800s and brushing your teeth in the 1900s, isn't it time for something new, like cleaning your nose? After all, your nose is the body's air filter for trapping dirt and germs, the first line of defense against allergens, bacteria, and viruses from getting into your lungs. But how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage isn't plumbing. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the very back of the nose where germs can get trapped and multiply, and then out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and microbes so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. Join over 2 million others and find out for yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
49 degrees at 11:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Percha. A December hit-and-run crash in Saginaw County is still under investigation. On December 10th, a man was walking along Dixie Highway from Miller's Motel to Magic Party Store in Bridgeport when he was struck by a vehicle. The man died from his injuries. Police have not identified the vehicle, but say it might be a white crossover vehicle with a third row. The vehicle could potentially have front-end damage. The driver was possibly heading north on Dixie Highway at the time of the crash. Anyone with information about the crash can call the Bridgeport Police Department or Saginaw County Central Dispatch at 797-4580. The 22-year-old man was discovered dead in State Police responded to the 14,000 block of Belsay Road in Thetford Township. Police believe the man's death is suspicious as the investigation continues. No other details are currently available. Governor Gretchen Whitmer visited Hemlock Semiconductor yesterday with other business, state, and local officials for a tour of the company. She commended the global silicon and semiconductor chemicals manufacturer for its longstanding commitments to the state and its contributions to Michigan's leadership position in the semiconductor supply chain. Michigan's automotive industry purchased nearly $35 million in products and services from semiconductor companies in Michigan in 2020. Leadership in research and development and testing. Hemlock Semiconductor is part of a growing comprehensive ecosystem in the state that's supported by SK Siltron, KLA in Ann Arbor and Bay City, and the University of Michigan was the top global institute for semiconductor training. Wimmers called on federal officials to fund the CHIPS Act in her State of the State address to fight the ongoing chip crisis head on and take advantage of the opportunity to help grow critical sectors in Michigan's economy. WSGW News Time, 11:07.
At Wildfire Credit Union, our team will tell you that everything we do is for our members, because always.
Recently, I was working with a member to purchase an auto loan and saw an opportunity to help them save some money. By refinancing their credit card debt, we were able to save them over $600 a month. This is one of the many ways that we deliver outstanding service to our members.
Delivering marvelous experiences, saving members money, providing personalized service, going the extra mile. That's Wildfire Credit Union. It's what we do every day. Find out for yourself. Call 800-227-2328. Click on wildfirecu.org or come by any Wildfire location to experience banking the way it's supposed to be, where it's about you, always. Wildfire Credit Union. Distinctively better. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender. These are actual examples of savings and not guaranteed in every situation.
WSGW News Time, 11:08. The weather forecast is coming up next. Republicans, who control for a $2.5 billion annual tax cut, passing a bill that would reduce income and corporate rates and let taxpayers claim the step yesterday comes less than a week after Governor Gretchen Whitmer formally proposed less sweeping tax breaks for retirees and lower wage earners. Citing a multi-billion-dollar budget surplus, Republicans say it's time to return money to people hurt by the pandemic and high inflation. Democrats counter the legislation would help corporations that are enjoying record profits and not frontline workers. A Michigan professor and his profanity-filled video posted for his students has been ruled not protected by the First Amendment. Here's Jim Matthews.
Officials at Ferris State University are defending their decision to suspend history professor Barry Meller after he called students vectors of disease in a video posted to YouTube. Usual welcome message made by the 74-year-old prof is not protected speech, with attorneys for Ferris State saying that some students have quit his classes because of his remarks. Meller was suspended with pay last month and told that he was being investigated for violation of campus policies. He responded with a lawsuit. A hearing for that is scheduled for March 7th. During the 14-minute video, Meller frequently used profanities and said students could skip in-person classes and still get a good grade by following the course requirements posted online. He says he was just performing. Jim Matthews, Michigan News Network.
State police have taken materials from the Lansing area home of a couple who worked as top aides to Lee Chatfield when he was Speaker of the Michigan House. Chatfield is under investigation after his sister-in-law accused him of sexually assaulting her for years, including when she was a minor. Her lawyer has also levied broad allegations of financial improprieties against Chatfield, but has not provided many details. Police searched a house in Bath Township belonging to Rob and Ann Menard. Rob Menard was chief of staff. Ann Menard was director of external affairs. The Menards have not been reached for comment at this time. WSGW News Time, 11:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology forecast. A wind advisory is in effect here for the forecast area. We'll see a few scattered rain showers possible late today. Otherwise, cloudy sky conditions, a high into the upper 40s. Winds out of the southwest around 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusting as high as 45. And then for tonight, a good chance for some rain showers here, then a chance for rain and snow mixing, becoming all snow late. Cloudy skies, a low near 30. By Thursday, a good chance for some snow showers here for the day, possibly mixing with freezing rain and sleet early on, about an inch possible to accumulate. Cloudy, temperatures steady early, then slowly fall through the day. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Vujcicki with the WSGW Weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 46.
Now, It's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
And welcome to another edition of Focus on WSGW. Focus from my Saginaw Spirit Home studio, brought to you by RoofMax, the safe, proven, and affordable alternative to expensive asphalt shingle roof replacement. Find out about RoofMax online at roofmax.com or call Ben at 989-859-6751. And remember, RoofMax is spelled with 2 X's. Well, February is Heart Month, where we worry about your heart. It's American Heart Month. And so today we're going to talk about your heart and what happens when you get to an emergency room if you're having a heart problem. And we're going to learn about that with Anthony Blair. He is the Director of Patient Care Services in the McLaren Bay Region Emergency Department in Bay City and in West Branch. Anthony, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Lewis. Thank you for the opportunity.
I'll call you Anthony. You call me Art. It's much easier that way. All right. And do they call you Tony or they?
The time with you, sir.
I'm sorry.
I just appreciate the time with you to talk about this important topic.
Well, that's all right. It's our pleasure. So I guess I want to start with, before we get to the emergency room. Most people have pains and, and all kinds of ailments from time to time. How do you know you're having a heart attack? Or at least what symptoms, even if you're not having a heart attack, should you not ignore?
Well, that's a great question, because I think all of us these days are a little, sometimes even afraid to seek medical care. But some of the things that we should always recognize that could be affiliated with our hearts is the simple things like chest discomfort. That's usually the number one symptom that both men and women experience. But other things that can be less noticed, or we think it's indigestion, are things like a little bit of pain in the belly, a little bit of nausea. I'm feeling a little tired today, or I got dizzy, I'm going to sit down for a minute. Sweats, tinglings in the back of the arm. Those are those subtle hints that maybe we do have a cardiac event that's beginning to present itself.
So if I have some of those symptoms, and some can be stronger than others, obviously, at what point do I decide I'm going to drive myself to the hospital, or do I call an ambulance?
Well, that's another great question. There is a large movement across the country called Survive, Don't Drive. And what we emphasize is, if you're not sure, call 911 and get the ambulance system there. These days, we're fortunate enough in the entire Tri-City area to have ambulances that are well equipped with trained medics. They have many of the same drugs and interventions in the ambulance as you would have in the emergency department. And one thing to remember is that every minute that you're experiencing chest discomfort or a heart attack is muscle that's being damaged. So time is of the essence. And quite frankly, if you're driving yourself in and you happen to go unconscious, who knows what the ramifications of that could be. So we really emphasize call 911.
And do it the safe way, huh?
Exactly.
There certainly would be. All right, hang on. I got to take a quick break here, and we'll be back. We're talking to Anthony Blair, and he is with McLaren Bay Region, talking more about your heart during American Heart Month and what you should be aware of. And we'll talk about what to expect when you get to the emergency room right after this.
While you're comfortable inside your home or business, the weather takes a toll on your roof. Wind, rain, hail, UV rays, and the heat of the sun cause premature failure of your shingles. Everyone loves to save money. If you have an aging roof, don't spend a lot of money on replacement. Get a Roof Max shingle treatment and get some peace of mind. Get more life for less money. Roof Max, a powerful fusion of science and nature. Call Ben today at 859-6751.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memory that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Do you promise to love, honor, and cherish, forsaking all others?
I do.
I do.
And now, by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you roommates. Go forth.
That's not the vow you took. But if struggles with CPAP have you and your spouse sleeping in separate rooms, it might be time to look into Inspire. Inspire works inside the body with just the click of a remote. That's right, just a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation.
Talk to your doctors. Important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. The study also reports that they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. We can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hello, Michigan. I'm John Gonzalez.
And I'm Amy Sherman. We've got big news.
We're back! And you can join us Sundays at 1 p.m. as we once again go behind the mitten.
We'll take you to every corner of the state. Michigan great.
Find a hidden gem or a new favorite spot that might be located right in your hometown.
We'll go above the bridge and taste our way across the state.
Join us Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on 100.5 and 790 News Radio, WSGW.
Thank you for being with 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
And we're back with you. All right. I think I'm back with you now. We had what in the industry we call a technical glitch. No, I'm not back.
visit our showroom and see
All
our
right.
new flooring and carpeting options. Westside Decorating Center,
I'm back.
5789 State Street in Saginaw Township.
They say if you listen hard enough, you can hear the corn grow. It's true. When you're out in the field, you understand its challenges and what it needs to thrive. Channel Seedsmen bring insights from the field to our team of Bayer plant breeders. Their knowledge inspires our product development. From your best ground to your most challenging conditions, our products are designed to perform in your fields. Visit channellistens.com to see our latest innovations. Always read and follow IRM where applicable, grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
When you choose the Roundup Ready Extend crop system, you're choosing exceptional weed control. It controls more weeds than any other soybean system and offers up to 14 days of soil activity on certain small-seeded broadleaf weeds. Plus, when used with Extend Flex soybeans, the Roundup Ready Extend crop system, the system of choice.
Claims are based on approved EPA herbicide labels as of January 2021. Pair with a strong weed management program. Always follow pesticide label directions, IRM, grain marketing, and all other stewardship practices.
All right, I'm actually back with you now. We had what we love to call in the industry a technical glitch. So we're back talking to Anthony Blair. And Anthony is the Director of Patient Care Services in the McLaren Bay Region Emergency Departments. We're talking about your heart's health. And so, Anthony, either I get there myself or I get an ambulance to bring me to the hospital. I get in the emergency room. What should I expect?
Well, the first thing is, emergency departments are always going to prioritize care for the most severe. And I think everybody knows that. But if you notify either the registration person, the triage nurse, the first contact you have when you walk in that you're having chest discomfort, your care is immediately prioritized. And so what you would expect is you would be taken back into a room. We're going to do an EKG. You're going to do x-rays. There's going to be an emergency department nursing team, an emergency department physician team that are all trained in advanced cardiac care, taking care of you immediately. At McLaren ERs, we also use what's called a Dr. Hart page, and that notifies the cath lab and the cardiology team that also respond. We take cardiac care very serious, and as you can tell by having a month around the country that's devoted to heart care, there's a need for it. I don't like using a lot of data, Art, but I will states alone, about every minute, almost 2 people a minute pass away from cardiac or cardiology issues.
Are we doing better, Anthony, though, in that category? By that, I mean, are we saving a lot more lives than we used to?
We are. Yeah, we're saving a lot more because of a couple of things. One is people using the 911 system are getting some of these drugs before they even arrive to the ER. And then once they're in the ER, having the response of both ER clinicians and cardiology clinicians immediately to take longer periods of time, the care and treatment of these patients.
So let's talk about prevention. What do we do to not have a heart attack?
That's always a tough question to answer because people don't like to always hear what I'm going to say, but there are some things we can do. And Art, like myself, I don't want to point fingers to anybody else, but like myself, there's nothing we can do about getting a little older. I mean, that just happens.
Yep.
But there are some things we can do. Smoking is obviously a huge risk. And, there's a lot of treatments out there that high cholesterol and high blood pressure are two of the other big reasons that we see people experiencing additional cardiac events or cardiac disease. And, of course, obesity. So it can be as simple as, this week I'm going to decide 3 days a week I'm going to take a walk around the block, and instead of eating that donut, I'm going to eat an apple. I mean, it's just simple things, a little more exercise, trying to watch what we eat, and really paying attention to those issues we have with our body and taking the medications that are prescribed by our practice.
Yeah, it's amazing, too, as you get older. I'm 79. My body tells me. It regularly tells me.
Yeah, mine does as well.
Is there a website people can get more information?
There always is. You can go to McLaren.org, and we have a number of resources there for information in regards to not only cardiology or cardiac issues, but the emergency departments in general as well, and as well as primary care. If I was going to leave you with one thing, I would say don't ignore those signs and symptoms. It's always best to get seen, get taken care of. And if it's not a cardiac event, we're happy for you.
Yeah.
But we certainly don't want to miss one.
Comes under the heading of rather safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Anthony, listen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Art. Best of luck to you.
Thank you. You too. Have a great day. Bye-bye now. Anthony Blair with McLaren Bay Region. It's American Heart Month. Take care of that pumper you got there because it's what keeps you going. We'll be back to close out after these notes.
Since the pandemic, I'm so anxious all the time.
I can't sleep.
I need someone to talk to who's not going to judge me.
For emotional support any time of the day or night, talk to a Stay Well counselor. Dial 1-888-535-6136 and press 8. It's free and confidential, and one of the many ways to stay mentally healthy. Learn /Stay Well. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes.